Welcome to Table Flippers Podcast, an outreach of Greater Works Christian Church here in Lancaster, California. I am your host, Robert Enos. If you like what you hear, visit us at gwcclancaster.org. That's gwcclancaster.org. Find the Table Flippers link, click on it, and you'll get to our merchandise. Now, get ready for a huge dose of truth and a huge dose of common sense.
I'm moving to Washington, D.C. because there's bigger nuts out there.
All my loving, adoring fans, I owe you all a huge apology. I've been preparing for our Passover Seder tomorrow. That's when our Seder is, tomorrow. And I haven't put out an episode of Table Flippers since Tuesday, and here it is Friday. I feel so terrible that I've gone 3 days without producing an episode, without joining in on your lives and having you join in on my life, coming together around the radio or the phone or whatever you're listening on, and having that fellowship of intellect and brilliance together. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for that. And it was eating me up inside, so I said to myself, awesome one, we must sit down, produce an episode, because my fans are worth it. I love you guys. You are fantastic. You are spectacular in every way, and I never want to let you down. So I'm going to do my best to never go this long again without allowing you to enter into the communion of this awesome brilliance that is Table Flippers Podcast. I just love my life. Anyways, let me move on. But I do mean it, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate each and every one of you that has been tuning in, listening, supporting, and even the letters and such, the emails that you have been sending. Please keep sending them. I appreciate each and every one of you. And do me a favor. When you do write a letter, when you write an email, put in that email very clearly, either at the top or at the bottom, near your name where you sign, or at the very top, giving me permission to read it on the air, or not, or declining. The reason I'm asking you to do this is because I don't want to just assume that you don't mind and just read it and then have somebody offended. And yet, at the same time, I want to be able to read these things. So even if it's something mean, you don't like me, go ahead, say it. I'll probably read it anyways. And type out your name the way you want me to say it on the air. So when you sign it, if you don't want me giving your first and last name and your phone number and your email address and your physical address, well, then don't include those. If you want to be just known as Jim, then just put Jim. If you want to be known as Bob, just put Bob. So, I'm sorry, I there was just some joke that I had brewing in the back of my head, but I won't say it. Anyway, so if you do send me a letter, please, again, right up there, please read on the air. You could say something as simple as that, or please do not read on the air, and I won't. I'm sitting here enjoying my iced tea from Casita Lopez here in town. Great little Mexican restaurant. Let me get into some things, because you guys remember we talked about the Nashville shooter, the Tennessee shooter. Was it Nashville? Anyways, Tennessee. This woman who thought she was a man goes into a Christian school. By the way, according to what I have been able to find, the manifesto this woman left basically says that she targeted specifically Christian school, and she actually attended that school when she was younger, making it a hate crime. However, nobody wants to call it a hate crime, and the only reason they don't want to call it a hate crime is because it's a transgender person towards Christian. Flip that around, if it was a Christian person or somebody who claimed to be a Christian towards transgender, it would automatically be a hate crime. So there is truly a double standard in this nation. There's a double standard with many of you. I was just watching one of those man on the street kind of reports where they go out there with a camera and a microphone and they ask certain people certain things. So anyways, they went to a liberal rally against guns, and I believe it was there in Tennessee, but the location I don't know. I think it was in Tennessee. But nonetheless, the man on the street with the camera and the microphone was just basically, he had a clipboard as well. He says, I got this petition. Would you sign this petition? How did he word it? But basically calling out this woman, thought she was a man, that killed 6 people, 3 of them children, calling her out and such. And no, one lady, he asked several people, and all of them said no. And all of them were, they kind of were on her side, but were against the gun. Not her, the gun. Now, I saw some of the videos, and not once did it look like she was trying to make the gun stop shooting. She was actually helping the gun to shoot, which tells me it wasn't the gun's issue or the issue of the gun. It was this person with a mental illness and these liberals. Ladies and gentlemen, I keep telling you, liberalism is wickedness and evil, making liberals and those with a liberal kind of left-leaning mindset wicked and evil as well, because they embrace this nonsense. They were still trying to demonize the gun, but not the person who carried the gun, simply because the person who carried that gun was transgender. A woman who thought she was a man, clearly displaying mental illness. So they would not decry her or him or they or them or there or up or down, whatever she is. They would not decry her, but they would decry the gun. And the gun has no mind of its own. The gun has no legs, no feet, no arms. It can't get up off wherever you keep your gun. It's not going to jump out of your drawer, run down the street, and start randomly firing at people. It has to be in the hands of somebody who's pulling that trigger. And when you take that gun, point it at people, take that gun into a school and point it at people and pull the trigger, that's on purpose. That's not the gun's fault at all. I mean, it's not funny, but it is funny in the sense of not ha-ha funny, but this sick, strange, weird, perverted kind of funny in the sense of how do these people really, I don't know how they survive. I mean, honestly, how do they make it in this world? How do they get up? How do they cook their food? How do they roll out of bed? How do they put on clothes? How do they have the brains to do any of that when they can't even figure this out? And then when some transgender person takes a gun, goes in there and murders 6 people, 3 of them children, targets Christians, and all somebody is saying is, will you go on record of saying that's wrong, that's bad, shouldn't have done it, it's her? They can't, and they won't, because they're wicked. And that's just it. So ladies and gentlemen, listen, I've said it before, I'm saying it again. You that vote Democrat, that lean to the left, you can say anything you want about the Republicans. And a lot of it I would agree with, but they're not. You put one Democrat on a scale, and measure their evil, their wickedness, you'd have to put 50 Republicans on the other side of that scale. Yes, it's about that bad. Are there a lot of Republicans that need to just be canned? Absolutely. Some of them in prison? Oh, yes. But for every one Republican that belongs in prison or is doing something wicked, there's 50 to 100 Democrats even more wicked. And I'm not even exaggerating. When liberals can't even come out in support of labeling a transgender person in that manner, wicked, evil, whatever you call it, murderer, because, transgender with a gun. It's got to be the gun's fault. It's got to be the gun's fault. Oh, somehow the NRA was involved in it. You know what? Trump must have been sending out some messages, subliminal messages, and this poor girl who thought she was a man wasn't wearing her tinfoil helmet that day. So she got these messages from Trump, and it really messed her up. And all she could do was go shoot people. It's not her fault, his fault, its fault. It's the gun's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's the NRA's fault. It's Republicans' fault. But never the transgender, emotionally ill transgender person, a woman who thinks she's a man. It can never be. See how strange and how wicked and how evil that whole left-leaning mentality is, ladies and gentlemen? And this goes worldwide. This is worldwide. This isn't just unique to America. Those of you who are listening in other countries, stop and think about it for a moment. You have the left-leaners that are pushing abortion all the way up to and even past natural birth. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the hardcore abortionists not only want you to be able to murder your child up to birth, but even here in America, they're trying to push these bills and such that up to, I believe it's 20 days after the baby is born, if you decide you don't want that child, there's ways to rid yourself of the burden of having a human child rely on you. If they are that wicked to come against the most innocent among us, then that wickedness, you have to assume, and you can safely assume, is going to be recognized and seen and pushed and propped up in every other decision they make, no matter what it is. Why do you think the same people that push abortion are pushing this transgenderism and are causing our financial and banking system to completely fail? Why? Because when they have death, when they press for death in one area, death manifests in every other area. It really bothers me, especially you Christians, or those of you who claim to be Christians, but if you vote Democrat, you cannot be a Christian. They cancel one another out. But those of you who claim to be Christian, you vote Democrat, then somebody calls you on abortion. Oh, I'm against abortion, but there's more to it than that. No, there isn't. Because when there's murder in the heart of a politician, a governmental official, or a voter, it comes up in every other area of their life, one way or another. And it's this stream, this flow, this foundation of death that follows them. The same people that push for abortion, especially up to 8 months and beyond, are the same people that are destroying our financial institutions and our financial system and the banking system, not only here in the United States of America, but around the globe. It's death. It's death, ladies and gentlemen. It's death, and that's what they're all about. So they keep pushing this transgender idea, all right? They keep pushing and supporting people like this woman who walks into that Christian school and guns down 6 people, 3 of them children. And they're still supporting the woman. They're still supporting the woman and demonizing the gun, even though that gun was in the hand of that woman. But they give the woman a pass because she was transgender, claimed to be a man. This is so mind-boggling, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what we have to live with, and this is what we have to fight against. I want to read to you this other article, and this article was published yesterday, April 6th, 2023, and the title of this is Colorado Suspect Allegedly Planned Multiple School Shootings, authorities say. Arrest papers say deputies found a drawn layout of the school and a manifesto filled with schizophrenic rants. Okay, so keep that in mind. Schizophrenic rants. And this person wanted to shoot up multiple schools, not just one, multiple schools. And when they found his manifesto, it was filled with schizophrenic rants. And this is by Bradford Betts of Fox News. It says Colorado authorities arrested a 19-year-old suspect for allegedly planning to shoot up multiple schools in Colorado Springs. The 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office on Thursday said the defendant, William Whitworth, who identified as Lily. Okay, so William, clearly a boy's name, identified as Lily, clearly a girl's name, and according to a DA spokesman, was in the process of transitioning to female. Anyways, let me go on before I say anything. Whitworth is charged with 2 counts of first-degree criminal attempt to commit murder, criminal mischief, menacing, and interference with staff, faculty, or students of educational institutions. Deputies with the Elbert County Sheriff's Office responded to a disturbance call in the 13900 block of Doubletree Ranch Circle in town of Elbert last Friday, according to an arrest affidavit obtained by Fox 21. A family member reportedly told 9/11 dispatchers that her sister had threatened to shoot up a school and had anger problems. Deputies were sent to the house, which was littered with trash and had containers with half-eaten food, making it difficult to walk inside. Let me stop right there. So you got this young man, William Whitworth, who identifies as Lily, a woman. He was in the process of transitioning to a female. By the way, there's no such thing. A male, will never become a female, no matter how many surgeries or how much hormones they pump into their body or how many surgeries they take. They just can't. But to further this, where was this? It says here, a family member reportedly told 911 dispatchers that her sister had threatened to shoot up a school and had anger problems. Now, I thank God that this family member did call 911 and talk to them, report this William Whitworth. But here's the delusion. And clearly this family, the whole family, was extremely delusional and mentally ill and made way for and supported mental illness instead of created an atmosphere for people to become healthy. Because remember, this young man's name was William Whitworth. He identified as a girl, but he was clearly a boy, William Whitworth, and his sister called him sister. So propping up this whole notion that he was actually a girl, when in fact he was not a girl. And not only that, but it says deputies were sent to the house, which was filled with trash and had containers with half-eaten food, making it difficult to walk inside. The deputies were directed to a room where Whitworth was sleeping, the affidavit said. The room was filled with trash as high as the bed, and there were holes in the wall. Now, we don't know why there was holes in the walls, but nonetheless, there was holes in the walls where there shouldn't be holes in the walls. And there was so much trash in this room that it was literally as high as the bed, as it says. And this young man, William Whitworth, who clearly had some emotional problems, mental problems, was sleeping in this filthy room in a filthy house where his sister looked at him, not his brother, but sister. So this whole, you could start to see and understand what's going on in this family unit to create this and have this problem arise. When I've said before, and I stand it even more now than I ever have at any other time, transgenderism is a mental illness. There's an emotional component there too, but it's a mental illness. And we're seeing this clearly just merely in the description of William Whitworth, who had planned to go shoot up multiple schools, had the manifesto, and as the sheriff said there, filled with schizophrenic rants. Now, I'm not 100% sure what a schizophrenic rant is, but for them to pick that up and say it in that manner, it must have been really twisted and dark and strange, so for them to say that. So, anyways, let's go on. During questioning, Whitworth admitted to planning a school shooting with the suspect's former middle school, Timberview, being a main target, according to the affidavit. Arrest papers show deputies found a drawn layout of the school and a manifesto filled with schizophrenic rants and mentions of serial killers, politicians, entertainers, including the Columbine shooters and former President Trump. Whitworth's preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 5th. Bond was set at $75,000. Academy District 20 told Fox News Digital that staff and parents were notified of the threats. We are filled with gratitude for those who saw something, heard something, and spoke up, a district spokesman said in a statement. The district said the court had ordered a protection order for Timberview Middle School, Pioneer Elementary School, and Pine Creek High School. Fox News Digital has reached out to the Elbert County Sheriff's Office for additional details. Whitworth's arrest came just days after a woman who used he/him pronouns entered a private Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, and killed 6 people, including 3 children. So this was just days after that. Remember, we spoke about that a few days ago when it happened. And so this, just a few days after that whole event, this person was arrested. Thank God. I mean, I really mean that. Thank you, Jesus, for doing that. But again, this should be a wake-up call, ladies and gentlemen. They're pushing this transgender movement on us. Practically, well, they are forcing it on us in many ways in the public schools and things of that nature. And this is what we can look forward to, because these people are not well. These people are not well. They're not well emotionally. They're not well mentally. And these types of things, if it's not going to be school shootings, it's going to be other things are going to rise up because of all this transgenderism nonsense. Anyways, this article was... again, written by Bradford Betts, and he is a Fox News digital breaking reporter covering crime, political issues, and much more. So we had that woman, Audrey, I believe her name was, go into, she wanted to be known as Aiden, goes into a Christian school, guns down 6 people, 3 adults, 3 children. I believe all those children were age 9 or right around age 9. So these young children didn't even really begin life yet. And guns them down. And then you have some of the craziest things coming out. Just shortly after that, a few days after that, we have the CMT Awards. And of course, like any award show, especially in music, they're going to have people performing, singing their songs, their hits and such. And this ballerini, I can't remember, Kelsey Ballerini. Up until this, I never even knew who she was. So that tells you how good she is, because I know all the good country music singers. Anyways, she performs one of her songs, one of her hit songs, with RuPaul alumni dancing around with her.
This is just so ridiculous.
So drag queens up on the stage dancing around her at a country music awards show. This blew my mind. And then her kind of forcing that. So I don't know who over there at the CMT Awards, whoever puts this on, produces it, gave that okay, but that person needs to be fired right away. And I knew it with everything in me, because I know country music, ladies and gentlemen. I know country music people, okay? That's my roots right there. I know my rednecks, all right? I know my rednecks. And I knew that it wouldn't be long before the rednecks started rising up and going, nope, not going to have it. Okay, so the ballerini fiasco at the CMT Awards happens, and then at the same around the same time, there's this Dylan Mulvaney, who is a transgender man, thinks he's a woman, and is out there kind of, how should I say, very flamboyant. So he captures a lot of people's attention in a lot of ways, some good, some bad. Well, all bad, I guess, in that sense. But Anheuser-Busch decided to hire this dude and work with this dude, this Mulvaney, Dylan Mulvaney, and actually put his face on a can of Bud Light, ladies and gentlemen, Bud Light. Okay, so now you've got transgenderism all over Bud Light beer cans, all right? Anheuser-Busch, known for Budweiser, Bud Light, and this Dylan Mulvaney pushing it, putting out a little, promo videos, things of that. Oh, this is my favorite. Oh, this is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. So you got the CMT award show being corrupted by all this nonsense. You've got Bud Light. Now, I'm not a beer drinker at all, but I know my rednecks. I know my country music. And I know my rednecks like their beer. And one of their favorite beers is Budweiser. Their second beer is Bud Light, because they, if they get in that little beer belly, they say, I'm going to drink the Bud Light so I can trim up a little bit. Doesn't really work, ladies and gentlemen. But they think it does, so they keep drinking it. Just don't tell them. But now they put this transgender face Dylan Mulvaney and go completely woke and completely, left in that area. And what do you think that's going to do to the redneck crowd that loves their Bud Light or their Budweiser, but hates all this stuff? Well, they're just going to stop. And again, now some real country music singers to the rescue. And I mean that. Let me read this other article. Now, this was published yesterday. I actually saw this yesterday, but I didn't have time to do an episode. So I said, I'm going to do that today. It's, again, published April 6, 2023. It says, country music's Travis Tritt drops all Anheuser-Busch products after Bud Light's Dylan Mulvaney campaign. Anheuser-Busch products include Budweiser, Stella Artois, Corona, Michelob Light, Rolling Rock, Busch, and more. And this is by Lawrence Richard of Fox News. Country singer-songwriter Travis Tritt announced on Twitter that he would be removing Anheuser-Busch products from his tour hospitality rider amid pushback the company is receiving after beer giant Bud Light celebrated transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney in a new promotion. And by the way, it might be hearing this, but also, what's his name? John Rich, another country music dude. John Rich, same thing. He says, I'm dropping them. And from what Travis Tritt had said in another area, he said there's a lot of country music people that are doing the exact same thing. They're just not going, they don't want to be canceled, so they're not going to be as vocal as Travis Tritt and John Rich is. He says, but I don't care. You can try to cancel me. You can't cancel me. I'm just going to be bold. Just say it. And which I appreciate. Because, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're worried about them being canceled, or them canceling you, I'm just going to be honest with you. Then you're not all that. You're really not all that, because when you have a true following of people, no one will cancel you because your fans will rise up and support you anyways. So if you're afraid of being canceled, then what you're doing is you're admitting that you are not that important, and you need these left-leaners to basically, because you don't have what it takes, so you need them to put you out there, whatever that means. And to that I say, you know what, maybe it's time that you just drop all the left-leaning nonsense completely. If they cancel you, let them cancel you, but also recreate yourself somewhere else with the fans you already have, and see what really happens. Go over there and talk to Travis Tritt. Hey, let's do a concert together. The canceled conference or conference. See, I'm in church mode. Concert, can't cancel me concert, whatever it may be. Talk to John Rich, talk to Travis Tritt. Heck, you may not like his music too much, but talk to Kid Rock. Come on. All of y'all get together. You can't cancel me, So anyways, let me finish reading this. I will be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from my tour hospitality writer. I know many other artists who are doing the same, Tritt wrote Wednesday evening. Hours later, the multi-platinum selling artist shared a second tweet that included a photo of RuPaul's Drag Race show teaming up with Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey Company. All the Jack Daniel's drinkers should take note, he wrote. And I agree. Listen, again, I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. It's been a long time since alcohol crossed these lips. But one of the things that I know about beer drinkers and beer in general, especially like the American beers like Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors Light, and drinks like that, beers like that. They lean towards more of the more masculine, truckers, bikers, cowboys, mechanics, real men. So now these beer companies have completely crossed the line and forgotten who their supporters are. Who's drinking their beer. It's a total slap in the face. I feel slapped in the face in that sense, and I don't even drink beer because I can at least identify with true masculinity, and that's why I feel that it's a slap in the face. Then we find out that Jack Daniel's has done the same thing. Again, Jack Daniel's was that good old boy back home, Tennessee whiskey, that that was, again, it was the cowboys who drank it. It was the rednecks who drank it, the truckers, the bikers. Again, Jack Daniel's. I'm not a whiskey drinker at all, but I at least knew that because I can identify with masculinity. So when real men, masculine men, take upon something, right, and they do something or they act a certain way, I can at least identify. I'm not saying I totally agree with it. I just say I can identify with it. So Jack Daniel's, Budweiser, you missed your target completely. And you just gave a big finger, a big bird to everybody that's ever supported you. The masculine men, the real men in this country. So this is absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, let me go on with this. It says Tritt also responded to a user who asked for a clear list of Anheuser-Busch product. And he writes back, and this is some little clips from Twitter. I will be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from my tour hospitality writer. I know many other artists who are doing the same. Here they are, the singer wrote, with a photo of various beer brands, including Budweiser, Stella Artois, Corona, Michelob Light, Rolling Rock, Busch, Natural Ice, O'Doul's, Red Hook, and more. Somebody needs to post a list of the related Bud products. It's amazing and surprising. Here they are. So anyways, he puts that up there. I don't know why they doubled this up anyways. Anyways, he next shows his schedule for April 14th in Hinton, Oklahoma. Tritt is the latest figure to vocalize opposition to Bud Light's polarizing promotion, a celebration of Mulvaney's 365 days of girlhood. Again, Dylan Mulvaney was celebrating 365 days of girlhood. Okay, so I guessed 1 year since this dude went full feminine. I don't know. But isn't it sick that companies as Bud Light are feeding into that delusion, supporting his delusion and the delusion of many others? This illness, he's a man. Okay, I take that back. He's a male, biological male, and he's going to celebrate 365 days of girlhood? Budweiser, Bud Light, Jack Daniels, and any other company that's leaning that way, why don't you go find a real girl who's been a girl, born a girl, still lives as a girl, still acts as a girl, still very feminine, very ladylike, and celebrate them. Go celebrate somebody who is not acting out of a mental, emotional fantasy illness. Go support the real deal. And if you don't know any, because you've let so many of it in your company that you don't know which really is a male and which one is a female, just call me. You can write me. You got my email will be there. Please just write me, and I can hook you up with some real women, okay? I know there'll be real females and real women. And you can celebrate them and put their face on the next beer can. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know that any real woman at this point will want to do this, because they're not going to play second fiddle to some dude, some skinny twerp dude wanting to play fantasy game and try to play and act like he's a girl when he's not. No real woman is going to want to play second fiddle to that. You've already made your bed. You're going to lose it. You went woke, as they say. Now you're going broke. And I don't care if Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch completely crashes and they have to put a padlock on their on all of their manufacturing plants, distribution plants, sell off all their goods, and Budweiser is a thing of the past. I wouldn't really care about that. As a matter of fact, I would celebrate that. That's how sick this is. Anyways, let me go on with this. He says, a celebration of Mulvaney's 365 days of girlhood, which has been met with significant backlash on social media. Several users speculated the announcement was an April Fool's joke with how poorly it was received. Do you see what you've brought yourself down to, Anheuser-Busch or Budweiser, Anheuser, whatever you are, Bud Light, Budweiser? People think that your stunts like this are nothing more than April Fool's joke. That's how silly and irrelevant you have become. On Monday, singer Kid Rock used several Bud Light cases for target practice, sharing a video on social media of him using a rifle on their product. In the video, Rock turns to the camera and shouts, F Bud Light and F Anheuser-Busch. The video swiftly went viral. The only thing I didn't like about that video, the swearing, because I don't like swearing, but that's whatever. But beyond the swearing was the fact that he wasted all that ammunition on something as ridiculous as Bud Light. I mean, he made a great point. He made a fantastic point, and I really liked the video. It looked like fun. It's like, I wish I was there, shooting up those cans as well. But it's like, you just wasted all that good ammunition on Bud Light. I mean, isn't there a better way? I mean, maybe there isn't. I'm just, throwing that out. Maybe next time, if the cans are as soft as the person whose picture was on it, maybe you could just throw some rocks or hit it with a BB gun. A couple of shots with a good BB gun would have done the same amount of damage. I'm just saying. Anyways, let me go on. Mulvaney, born a biological male, revealed the 365 Days of Girlhood campaign over the weekend and said the beer company sent packs of Bud Light featuring his face on them. The trans activist described the cans as his, I'm just reading it says, but I'm correcting it, his most prized possession on Instagram. He also shared a video of him drinking a Bud Light beer in a bathtub. That's what everybody needs to see, is some really skinny, twerpy dude who thinks he's a girl drinking a Bud Light in a bathtub. Yeah, that made me want to run out and buy a six-pack of Bud Light. No, just kidding. It made me want to run out and buy a six-pack of something harder to try to drink that image out of my head. I'm just kidding, ladies and gentlemen. I don't drink. Anyway, several people have called for Bud Light boycotts. Several others celebrated Anheuser-Busch's decision and said it helped drive the national conversation of trans representation and inclusivity. I think it's a win for Bud Light, and I think it's a win for other brands. Brian Kramer, an award-winning influencer and brand marketing guru, told Fox News Digital. Wait a minute. People are putting out videos of blowing them up with their guns. Travis Tritt, John Rich, and others are dropping it from their tours and such. And many people are very, 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 very upset and outraged. And he says it's a win. It's a win for Bud Light and a win for other brands. And this guy is supposed to be an influencer and brand marketing guru. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know who this is. But Brian Kramer, you are a beer short of a six-pack right now, okay? Anyways, he added it can become the template, if you will, for what is to be moving forward for this marginalized community and others. The real thing here is that this is about inclusion and diversity and inclusion. Anyways, that's the way it reads, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read that again, just as it is written. The real thing here is that this is about inclusion and diversity, and inclusion and diversity as a whole is not propaganda. I see what they tried to do. It's an essential part of our society. Kramer also predicted that moving forward, it's something that brands are having to take a position on. Commenters on Tritt's posts were also split, though a majority appeared to express support for his decision. Fox News' Gabriel Hayes contributed to this report, it says. So that's the end of that one. So this is, Travis Tritt is standing up. John Rich and many others are starting to stand up because this is just getting ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole thing is actually getting ridiculous. Whoever thought it was a good idea down at Bud Light or Budweiser to put that up there like that, you don't know your target audience. You don't know who's drinking your beer. And for that, you failed. And honestly, you should get fired, but it should say something. Like I said, I don't care if Anheuser-Busch completely goes under at this point. 100% goes under. Anyways, I never, even back in the days when I was stupid and acting like a tough kid and drinking beers, I rarely did the Budweiser because it was horrible. It was horrible. Who likes this stuff? I'm not going to tell you what it tastes like. It just didn't taste good. Now, here's another one. I think this is my last one. Because the Dylan Mulvaney saga continues. So, you have Bud Light with Dylan Mulvaney's picture on it and as one of their spokespersons. But now, I don't know when this actually took place or if it just came out because of this, but it says Nike. It says Nike responds to backlash over Dylan Mulvaney's partnership, instructs customers to be kind, be inclusive. So, what this is Nike actually has Dylan Mulvaney as one of their, it says partnership, but okay, what it was is Dylan Mulvaney, a man, was hired by Nike to, if you will, wear and model their Nike sports bras, of all things, and to be in a partnership with Nike in regard to their sports bras. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan Mulvaney is a man. Sports bras are for women. I'm not going to get into the biology of it, but I'm pretty sure that most of you understand why. So to have a major corporation such as Nike trying to push their sports bras using Dylan Mulvaney as their model, their spokesperson is, when I keep saying this is all about mental illness. That's what it is. This is mental illness on display now at the corporate level. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. Here's the reality of it. This is so embarrassing. Let me just read this. Okay, so Nike responds to backlash over Dylan Mulvaney's partnership, instructs customers to be kind, be inclusive. And this was published today, April 7th, just actually a little while ago. Anyways, 2023. And the person who published this is Chance Martin, again on Fox News. Athletic apparel giant Nike doubled down on its decision to use transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney in marketing campaigns to promote the company's female clothing. In a pinned comment to Nike's verified Instagram account, the company instructed customers to be kind, be inclusive, encourage each other. The response came amid calls for a boycott of the company shortly after Mulvaney, who identifies as female, appeared in paid social media content dancing in Nike's women's sportswear. Olympic swimmer Sharon Davies has been one of the athletes' leading calls for customers to stop buying Nike products. So Sharon Davies, I don't know who you are because I'm not much of a, I don't really watch the Olympics and everything because it just got too weird, to be honest with you. But I appreciate you, Sharon Davies, whoever you are, for standing up for this. Because unfortunately, in today's climate, there's not enough people with the courage. Many people sit back and complain about this. Many complain about it. Many talk about it, and they're not happy with this. But few are willing to let their voices be heard beyond their little social group. Anyway, so thank you, Sharon Davies. Davies, who won silver in the 1980 Moscow Olympics, said Nike's decision represented a step back after some sports organizations created protected categories for biological women in competitions. It's so frustrating. We take 2 steps forward with World Athletics and Swim England protecting women's sports, and then Nike does this? Davies told Dan Wooten tonight on GB News. I guess that's Great Britain news. The ad feels like a parody of what women are. In the past, it was always seen as an insult to say, run like a girl. And here we've got someone behaving in a way that's very unsporty, very unathletic. And it's so frustrating when only 1% of the USA sponsorship dollar goes to females in sport that Nike would do this feels like a kick in the teeth. So I'm going to try to paraphrase or put what she said in my own words. Because she feels that here's this fake woman hired by Nike dancing around in women's clothing, nonetheless a sports bra, woman's sports bra, a fake woman. She is saying for us real women out there, really making it work, doing the hard work, being a woman, being feminine, being in sports, and they're going to choose that over a real woman? It's a kick in the teeth. And I would have to say, Miss Davies, I totally agree with you. This is disgusting on so many different levels. But where you said it was like a kick in the teeth, I think you were just being nice. It's much worse than that in that regard. Just using that phrase. This is sick. This is perverted. Anyways, let me go on, ladies and gentlemen. In Friday's social media response, Nike vowed to remove any comments that were not in the spirit of diverse and inclusive community. You are an essential component to the success of our community. We welcome comments that contribute to the positive and constructive discussion. Be kind, be inclusive, encourage each other. Hate speech, bullying, or other behaviors are not in the spirit of a diverse and inclusive community will be deleted, Nike wrote. Nike has recently experienced an uptick in overall sales, especially after English soccer star Chloe Kelly showed off Nike gear after scoring a goal in the World Cup. Davies also took issue with the item of clothing Mulvaney wore in the advertisement, pointing out the company's treatment of other athletes in the past. Dylan is advertising sports bras when there's nothing to put in the sports bra, when actually it's a really important woman get proper support when they do sports. It just doesn't make sense. For a long time, Nike sponsored Allison Felix, one of the world's most incredible track athletes. Then, when Allison got pregnant, they reduced her sponsorship by 70% when she had something happen to her that happens only to women. Women are being treated with total disdain at the moment, particularly in the world of sports, where physiology makes so much difference. So back to this. It says Caitlyn Jenner has also been outspoken about Mulvaney's partnership with Nike, but it doesn't say what, it really doesn't say what Caitlyn Jenner said. Mulvaney has worked as a comedian, has appeared in Broadway plays, and has a big social media following. Mulvaney's compensation for the paid social media posts has not been publicly revealed. Let me get back to this. Oh, by the way, that was the end of the article. Chance Martin is a sports writer for Fox News Digital. It says here, Dylan is advertising sports bras when there's nothing to put in the sports bra. When actually it's really important women get the proper support when they do sports. It just doesn't make sense. So who said that? That was that Davies, I believe, still said that. Yeah, Davies. Saying that they're using a man to showcase their Nike's sports bras when this man has nothing to put into that sports bra. When in fact, now again, I'm putting my own words to it, they should be using an actual woman so that other women in sports can see and identify the type of support they will be getting and the support they desperately need when they do sports. But putting a sports bra on a man when there's nothing there to support is a slap in the face to all women. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could make this stuff up, but this is absolutely asinine and ridiculous. That this whole transgenderism, this movement, is being forced upon us in such some of the most odd, strange, weirdest, sickest ways. It doesn't even make sense. Nike hiring Dylan Mulvaney to prance around in a sports bra to try to sell sports bras to women who actually need sports bras. I mean, this is so strange, ladies and gentlemen, so strange. So, I mean, I don't even understand it. This is, it's beyond, I don't even know what to say about some of this stuff. And very rarely am I at a loss for words. I mean, trust me, there's a lot of words that come to mind, but I don't use that kind of language. So I'm trying my best to say this in such in a nice enough way that still makes an impact. So words such as sick, perverted, they come to mind. Perverse, I know that's related to perverted. Gross. Ladies and gentlemen, I've often wondered why. I really and you men out there, you males, I should say, you males. What gets me right now is I'm seeing more women upset with these types of things, especially this Nike thing, but these types of things when men dressing like women are taking women's spots, whether they be in sports, in advertising such as this, Nike, on beer cans, when that should be a beautiful, real woman. If they're going to put somebody's face on their woman's face, they should put a real woman's face, right? Something of that nature. So all of these men who want to be treated like women are actually taking real, true, feminine women's spots. And so, of course, women are upset. But what I don't understand, men, listen to me, men, why you're not so upset. Now, I don't know what goes on in your head secretly. I know some of the conversations that I've had with men, but why aren't more of you speaking up? I find it odd, and very strange, kind of sick, that there's not enough men that are actually upset at this type of stuff, which makes me wonder, why are you okay? And I'm not saying you are personally, I'm just speaking in general terms to make a point. Why are you okay, men? Why are you okay with men parading around as women? Here locally, there's a club, nightclub, and I think once a week they have drag night. And they post some of the pictures of drag night up on, social media, on Facebook and everything. And one time, just for research, I know somebody's going to say something stupid like a 4-year-old. Yeah, sure, it was research. Anyways, for research, I just clicked on some of the pictures and scrolled through them. And what most of the pictures was not so much of the performers, thank God, because I really don't care to look at that at all, but it was the people in the audience. And most of them actually were men, all right? And many of them were paired up with women, like they brought their girlfriends or their wives, or that's the vibe, the look that it actually gave. And the person who actually posts these claims, oh yeah, come on down. It's such a great time. This is such a fun show. I love these shows. I'm here every week. And I'm just like, So men, those of you who enjoy looking at other men dressed like women, those of you who enjoy, let's take that even a little bit further, because a lot of this goes much further than just a man dressed like a woman. Those of you who enjoy watching a man dressed up as a woman, dressed as a stripper, doing sexual kind of dances and, such things. What is wrong with you? I mean, honestly, what is wrong with you? What happened to your manhood? Did you leave it somewhere? Did you forget to put them on this morning? What happened to your masculinity? What happened to those things that make you unique as a man? Do you have any? Do you have any left? I'm doing my best, ladies and gentlemen, not to be crude, because if I was just talking to a group of men only, I'd be far more direct than I am now. But since there's ladies and maybe some children listening, I'm doing my best to make a point and not be crude. But what happened? What happened? I mean, did the rabbi cut a little bit too close when he was doing your circumcision when you were young? What happened? You fall out of a tree and hit a branch too many times? I don't know. Your underwear been too tight for the last 30 years? What's going on with you? Why do you, as a man, think, or why would you even want to, for 2 seconds, look at another man dressed as a woman, scantily, gyrate around in sexual poses and sexual movements? Why? What? How? What are you? I'm blown away by this, because it turns my stomach. It turns my stomach to look at that. Why? Because I'm a real man, masculine, and I like my women real women. You know what I mean? I happen to really appreciate and love my wife, that she is 100% true female, woman, feminine. I really appreciate that. God, do I appreciate that. So when I saw these pictures and I saw these things, and I'm seeing people and men and the women, ladies, I have to I want to apologize to you. It's not me directly. I know so a lot of people, you have nothing to apologize for. I do in this sense, because I'm somewhat guilty by association, since I'm a male. I'm a real man, but I'm a male, and there's a lot of males out there that aren't acting like men. And some of you ladies have had to step up and step into a more masculine role, not because you want to, not because it's your thing, but because you have to. Because the men, so-called men, the males around you, are a little bit limp-wristed, soft around the edges, sweet around the edges, and they're not standing up to fight for you and for femininity and fight to keep you where you need to be in that realm and in that place, treated like a true woman. And instead, they'll sit back and they'll drink a Budweiser can with Dylan Mulvaney, a man's picture on it, who thinks he's a woman. And that should have been your picture. You should have been celebrated for who you are. You should be out there showing off Nike's sports bras. Real women in the real world. So what? Where are the men? Men, where are you? Why aren't you standing up for your women? Why aren't you standing up for your wives, your girlfriends, your daughters? Why aren't you standing up for your aunts? Why aren't you standing up for your mama in that sense? Sitting back and saying nothing and being quiet, or secretly going down to the show to see a bunch of men dressed as women dance around. That's perverse. You've given up your man card. And again, there's a lot of other questions that I would like to ask that are far more direct and maybe crude. But ladies, I'm going to be, chivalry is not 100% lost. I'm going to watch what I say and how I say it, because I do not want to offend you. The males out there, I don't care about offending. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Come and cry on my shoulder? I mean, come on. Anyways, and don't get me wrong, men, there's a lot of good, solid, truly masculine men out there that are making life work, that are fighting hard, working hard for your family, for culture, for society. You're standing up for things in a right manner, in a right way. And when you see these types of things, such as the Bud Light can, I know there's many of you men that are just going to crunch that up, throw it away, and never purchase that again. There's a lot of you will say, you know what? I might have Nikes on my feet right now, but these are the last Nikes I will ever buy because of this kind of perversion, this kind of nonsense, this kind of wickedness. I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't want to be associated with that. There's a lot of men out there that are going to stand up like that. You whiskey drinkers, you Jack Daniels drinkers, a lot of you hearing this for the first time. I know this. You're going to go check it out on the internet to see if what I said is true. You're going to find out that it's true, and you're going to say, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to support this. I don't want to drink a almost said, I didn't say it, I caught myself, but I almost said a fruit-flavored whiskey, but I didn't. But you're not going to want to be a part of that. So a real man is going to throw it away, and if you're still going to remain a whiskey drinker, you'll go get something else. You'll start enjoying something else. You'll start drinking something else. Now, my suggestion would be you just quit drinking altogether, but, nonetheless, you're going to stop drinking Jack Daniels, you're going to stop drinking all Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser products. You're going to stop that, and you're going to start going, because real men do this. When they see something like this, that they know this, I don't want to be a part of this, they'll get on the internet, they'll figure out who these woke companies are, and they'll start dropping them. Whether they actually stand up and say anything or not, they'll just start dropping them. And then when enough of us do that, and it starts hitting them in their pocketbook, guess what? They'll start turning around. It would not be surprising to me if this time next year they had some, I don't know, Bud Light can with the deadlift champion of the world on there, or something of that nature, or the boxing champion of the world, or the kung fu champion of the world, something a little bit more masculine, trying to win back the people that they lost. But as far as I'm concerned, a year from now, Anheuser-Busch, sayonara, you could be locked up for all I care. Honestly, let a company that's actually run by real men, masculine men, buy you out, just give it to them, sell it to them, and let them revamp the entire company. Anyways, that's my rant for today, ladies and gentlemen. A lot happening out there, especially in transgender world. And if you think that it doesn't pertain to you, it most certainly does, because it's coming to a school near you. It's coming to a theater near you. It's coming to a nightclub near you. It's coming to a beer can near you. It's coming to whiskey near you. And who else? There's so many other things, Hershey. I don't buy Hershey chocolate anymore because of the Hershey, and that's not a joke. They really went there. Yeah. Anyways, let me get off. I got to sign off, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all. I appreciate you all. I don't consider you just fans or listeners. I consider you friends.
I like liberals because I like nuts.
Thank you for joining us at Table Flippers. I truly appreciate you. You can write me at gwccrobert@gmail.com. That's gwccrobert@gmail.com. Please let me know how I'm doing. Remember to pick up some of our merchandise. You can find the link at gwcclancaster.org. That's gwcclancaster.org. Until next time, be continually blessed.